Turning now to Hong Kong, police have arrested 11 protesters in the city's crowded commercial district.
I want to stress that arson and destroying objects from the height are very dangerous and criminal acts. They could cause injury to many people. I call on the protesters not to defy the law. Police will continue to execute duties impartially and will not tolerate any violent acts.
Fresh scuffles broke out between protesters who are demanding election reform and people who oppose the demonstrations. This week, Hong Kong's Supreme Court again ordered protesters to stop blocking roads and to allow areas to be cleared of obstacles. Weeks of protests have dragged down the economy in Hong Kong as well. Li Zhenzhen has more on the impact on retail and service sector.
It's 7 p.m. at this restaurant in Hong Kong's business district, but there isn't a customer in sight. The restaurant opened on September 30th, just 2 days after the start of the Occupy Central movement. Its owner, who also happens to be the president of Hong Kong's Federation of Restaurants and Related Trades, says the damage to the catering industry has been significant.
I have estimated that in central area, the whole industry of this area has lost about 10 million Hong Kong dollars in sales turnover. Before, in central area, we used to make about 30 million Hong Kong dollars per day. Then about 1/3 of the business has gone. Among these three areas, in Mong Kok, in Causeway Bay, and including central area, each day we lost about 50 million Hong Kong dollars in sales turnover in this industry.
Wong says the situation has been especially tough for smaller restaurants. Unable to pay rents and salaries, the protest may force many to close down. Hotels have also been hard hit. October is typically peak season, with many travelers coming to the city for trade fairs and exhibitions. But this year, numbers are down.
In previous years, occupancy rates at many high-end hotels could reach over 90% in October. However, this month it slumped to 70% to 80%, as some travelers have decided to cut short or even cancel their trips due to safety concerns. If the big protests remain unresolved, occupancy rates could fall to 50%, the lowest in a decade. We hope the protests will end by November.
Yao added that with protests blocking key shopping districts in Admiralty, Causeway Bay and Mong Kok, the retail industry has seen significant drops in sales. Some shops saw sales plummeting by up to 90%.
For the past several weeks, tourist arrivals to Hong Kong were unaffected, but tourist spending took a hard hit, as many shops and restaurants in the occupied areas chose to close. And analysts say if the protests continue, that may weigh negatively on the mainland tourist arrivals in the longer term.
Mainland visitors contribute about 90% of all tourist shopping expenditures in Hong Kong. Several economic institutions have already lowered the GDP growth forecast for Hong Kong this year on account of lower tourist spending. Some analysts worry that if the standoff continues, it would trigger an economic recession in the city. Li Zhenzhen, CCTV, Hong Kong.